Today we are playing Stardew Valley as somebody who has never made it past year 1. I have almost 600 hours in this game, and yet somehow I still restart every single farm before things start to get good. No Ginger Island, no autopetter, and no commitment apparently. But not this time! This time we are locking in, so here's the next 10 cozy chaos-filled days of Stardew Valley. Grab a snack, get comfy, and let's get into it. We start day 10 with the rain tapping against the farmhouse windows, the TV humming in the background, and Sweet Pea demanding attention immediately. We have our priorities straight. After petting the cat and clearing some land on the farm, I planted a few seeds before heading into town with my fishing rod and a complete breakfast because there was a smallmouth bass frenzy happening. And by frenzy, I mean I caught one fish before it ended. One. The fish teamed up against me immediately, so instead I spent the rest of the day fishing on the beach while the rain rolled in and my farmer slowly smelled more and more like wet socks and sardines. But honestly, it was kinda peaceful. We dragged ourselves home at the end of the night and made 2,068 gold from our fish haul, which means we are thriving financially for approximately 6 minutes. Day 11 started with good luck on the TV, which only can mean one thing. Mine time! But before leaving, Robin sent me a letter asking if I've seen her favorite axe. Robin, girlfriend, how do you lose an axe? That feels like less of a misplaced item and more like a public safety concern. After watering the crops and watering Sweet Pea, we headed to the mines. Floor 21 was easy. Floor 22 was easy. Floor 23 absolutely humbled me because I spent forever looking for the ladder only to realize it had been basically sitting there the whole time waiting for me to notice it. The mines loved to gaslight me. By floor 24, my energy bar was hanging on by a thread, so I crafted a few bombs because at this point, subtlety was no longer an option. I just started blowing things up and hoping for the best. Which honestly, works more than it should. We hit floor 25 for the elevator unlock, and because it was still early, I ran over to Gus's for salads because apparently my farmer survives entirely on leaves and bad decisions. I also got distracted by the traveling bookseller because every time I see a little shop in Stardew Valley, my brain just goes full raccoon mode. But back to the mines we went. Floors 25 through 28 were pretty smooth, but floor 29 and I have beef. I was smashing every rock in sight out of pure spite, when suddenly, a diamond. An entire diamond just sitting there like the universe saying, sorry for psychologically tormenting you. And immediately, I was like, yep, that's for my future spouse. Because nothing says romance like pulling a shiny rock out of a cave at 1 a.m. But we finally made it to floor 30 at 1:10 in the morning, fully aware that we were moments away from collapsing face first into the dirt. But honestly, worth it. We passed out immediately, but we also leveled up in combat and mining, so technically, that's self-care. Day 12 started with another good luck day. Unfortunately, we were not lucky enough to stop Jojo from stealing 310 gold from my unconscious little farmer body overnight. I love waking up already in debt. After reorganizing my inventory for the 47th time because apparently I just enjoy suffering, we head back straight to the mines. And this run was so good. Bombs from bats. Copper everywhere. Dwarf scrolls. It felt like the mines finally decided to stop bullying me for one day. We made it all the way down to floor 40 and got the slingshot, which is exciting because now I can miss my enemies from even longer distances. We sold our crops and made 193 gold, which honestly feels less like an income and more like finding money in between your couch cushions. Day 13 was the egg festival, which meant I spent my morning watering crops and then aggressively waiting for Lewis to open the event. And the second that festival started, I spent all of my money on 29 strawberry seeds because nothing says responsible adulthood like financial ruin for future profit. And then we talked to every single person in town, including Pam, who casually admitted that she spiked the punch bowl. Ma'am, this is a community event. And then it was egg hunt time. I was running around that map like my life depended on it, and somehow I ended up with 9 eggs. And I won. The straw hat was immediately equipped because suddenly my farmer looked like she had her life together, which is absolutely misinformation. Day 14 was rainy again, which meant cozy vibes immediately. We watched TV, planted strawberries, organized chests, and then wandered into town to check birthdays and requests. It was Haley's birthday, and someone wanted to climb extermination services, which honestly felt very small-town Facebook group. I checked the trash, and then I checked the traveling cart, and she also was selling kind of trash stuff. I went foraging through Cindersap Forest, picking up little goodies while the rain made everything feel extra soft and quiet. The music was vibey, the rain was cozy, and I found little goodies everywhere. And then I went mining. At least not before making sure Reckless Robin had her axe back, that way she doesn't lose it again. I headed into the mines, but my pickaxe was struggling so badly it felt like I was hitting rocks with a pool noodle. So after making it down a few floors, I gave up and I went to go do something special. Before the day fully ended, I went to Haley's house and just stood outside her door for a while. Eventually, she came out and I gave her a present for her birthday, and we ended up with 2 hearts, which means I accidentally started flirting with Haley against my will. Truly, I was just trying to be nice. But after that, I went home and randomly started decorating. I don't know what came over me, but I can almost certainly tell you that it's the trauma of accidentally flirting with Haley. I knew that I was going to give her hearts, but I just wanted to give her a birthday gift. I didn't realize that it would make her fall in love with me, okay? Before you come at me for the way that I'm decorating, understand that I normally do not decorate at all. My farm just kind of looks like I threw everything everywhere, and that's usually because I do. So if you have any tips and any tricks or anything that you want to tell me about how to build better, because this is nice, but it's definitely not something that I'm going to be proud of in the long run. I want to be better. But we slept after selling our crops. We made a whole $132, which again is couch cushion money. I can't wait until we're doing more. Day 15 was basically a cozy, productive day. We collected forageables, watered crops, continued decorating, and finally made furnaces so we could start smelting copper bars. I wanted to upgrade my pickaxe so badly, but I just didn't have enough money for it. So naturally, I spent the rest of my funds on Clint opening geodes, and it was like I was a Victorian woman gambling away her family fortune. But honestly, it was kind of worth it. We got a bunch of museum donations, unlocked rewards, got melon seeds, a starfruit seed, and some cute little decorations. But then the real magic happened. We unlocked sprinklers. My farmer's knees are finally being freed from the daily watering labor. We also sold some extra things overnight, earning 1,751 gold, which honestly felt like finding like a 20 in your coat pocket. Day 16 was a bad luck day, so I decided absolutely nothing productive would happen today, and I spent the entire day fishing instead. On another note, Pierre begged me to buy a few dozen boxes or so of his fertilizers, but I do know that he is super overpriced, and I do know that I will also be able to make them myself at some point, so I'm going to forego that. On another note, we sold our parsnips and our potatoes, and we met Maru, and we gave her a dandelion, and she hated it. Yeah. But then it was just me, the water, and the sound of disappointment every time I let a fish escape. somehow, we ended up hitting level 6 in fishing. Earning us the bait maker, spinner, trap bobber, and sonar bobber recipes. After selling everything we had, we made over 3,600 gold. Fishing continues to be the emotionally confusing ex that somehow keeps paying all my bills. Day 17, I finally had enough money to upgrade my pickaxe. But before we went to Clint, we went ahead and watered the cat, we watered the plants, and we did the rest of our farm chores before heading out and going straight to town. I checked the board in town and accepted a quest from Willie asking for an anchovy, and then naturally I dug through the trash cans all the way there because if Pelican Town didn't want me to be a raccoon, they should have not made their trash can searchable. I handed my pickaxe over to Clint like a nervous parent dropping their kid off for their first day of school, and then I spent the rest of the day fishing, again, because apparently this farm now is financially supported by Trat alone. Everything was going great until I ran out of bait. And then the second I ran out, the game immediately started giving me nothing but trash like the fish themselves clocked out for the day. So instead, I spent some time foraging around town until 5 p.m. when I finally made more bait and headed back out to the fish again. This time at the beach while the sun was starting to set. Honestly, it was kind of a vibe. By the end of the night, we hit fishing level 7, unlocking the cork bobber and the treasure hunter recipes. And then after selling everything we had, we made another 1,956 gold. And honestly, the fish are carrying this economy on their backs. Day 18 was another bad luck day, and it was pouring rain outside, but apparently it was not bad enough to stop Willie from sending us a letter letting us know that there were new fishing rods available in the shop, and then our dad sent us $500 in the mail, which honestly kind of felt like getting an emergency care package from home. But naturally, we spent the entire day fishing, and I mean all day. Morning, At this time, I decided that I was going to sell all of my fish to Willie, and I was going to buy the upgraded Iridium rod. We fished into the evening. and then even into the night. We stayed out fishing until 1:10 a.m. trying to catch absolutely everything we could before dragging ourselves home exhausted and smelling like ocean water. But honestly, it paid off. After selling everything that we had, we made a whopping 4,950 gold. Fishing is no longer a hobby. It is now this farm's primary source of income. Day 19 started off with my pickaxe being ready and Demetrius asking if I wanted fruit bats or mushrooms in the cave. And listen, fruit bats are cute, but mushrooms feel like something a tiny forest witch would choose. So obviously, we picked the mushrooms. Then I grabbed a quest for Sebastian, picked up my brand new copper pickaxe from Clint, and then I remembered that Robin still needed wood, so naturally I spent the rest of the day chopping trees while the farm slowly transformed into an overgrown disaster to a slightly organized disaster. After collecting enough wood, I headed over to Robin's and finally gave her the wood that she'd been asking for this entire time. But while I was there, I realized I could build a chicken coop. Suddenly, nothing else mattered. I spent the rest of the night clearing space for future chickens like my life depended on it. And when we finally went to bed, we leveled up to level 4 foraging from cutting down approximately every tree known to mankind, which also unlocked the tapper, mushroom log, and the wild summer seed recipes. Because honestly, this farm is one tiny step closer to becoming the cozy little countryside life I keep restarting before I actually reach it. And that brings us to day 20 and the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you have any tips, tricks, advice, or if you just want to emotionally support me through having inventory management issues, please leave a comment down below. And if this cozy little chaos farm is your vibe, please subscribe and come hang out next episode when we try to finally make it past year 1. No restarting, no quitting, just vibes, fish, and financial instability. I love you guys, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.